You really have a face that's just infuriating to look at. Why did you even become part of this family? Haha. I didn't raise my son to have him marry someone like you, even if it's by a hair. Please stop talking like that. I've asked you before, why do you say such things? Because you're useless, that's why. You don't work and you just live off of other people. Living the good life on Michael's earnings, huh? How embarrassing for an adult, haha. Excuse me, mother-in-law, are you serious? I'm just stating facts. You know what? This is a good opportunity for you to leave. What? My daughter is coming home. Lily is coming here? Yes, she's coming home to give birth, so you have no place here anymore. We can't have a nuisance around. It might affect the baby. I don't mind leaving. You're just putting on a brave face. How ridiculous. Get out, you nuisance, haha. Fine, but don't blame me for whatever happens. My name is Helena. I've always been the type to want to do things myself and loved learning new things. The more I could do on my own, the happier and more confident I felt. By the time I was in college, I was studying for various certifications, thinking they would come in handy someday. After graduating, I got a job and met my husband Michael through a friend's introduction. Michael struck me as down-to-earth and very gentle. Our friends kept saying we complimented each other well and tried to set us up. Michael didn't seem to mind, and I was interested too. That's how we met, and before we knew it, we started dating and got married in no time. I never thought I'd get married, but he proposed with such enthusiasm that I said yes almost impulsively. But that's when the problem started. Before marriage, due to mother-in-law's strong insistence, we started living together. Mother-in-law basically moved into the spacious house where Michael and I were living. It's true that where we live, the house is quite spacious for 2 people, but both Michael and I were surprised by this unexpected turn of events. She didn't even ask for our opinion and just brought her stuff over. She even canceled the lease on her own house, leaving us no choice but to live with her. I'd like to think about living with Mom someday, Michael had said before we got married, considering mother-in-law's age. I understood that the day might come, but I never thought it would happen so suddenly and forcefully. Besides, mother-in-law had a problem. Helena, you really can't do anything. It's pathetic, not just as Michael's partner, but as a human being. Did I do something wrong? Do I have to spell it out? I've done the cleaning, laundry, and meal prep. What else is there? Don't joke. Weren't you preparing meatloaf? I'm not in the mood for meatloaf today. You should have sensed that. What? You can't even do that? You lack empathy. I can't believe it. Michael's mom, or mother-in-law, seemed to be quite hostile towards me. She didn't like anything I did, and always tried to make me out to be the bad guy. She was desperate to find fault and went out of her way to make my life miserable. It might just be the typical mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflict, but it felt like much more. So I had been putting up with it to some extent. Helena, you're such a terrible woman, seducing my precious son and living with him. We're actually married? What? Don't say you're married. You're not fit to be Michael's partner. But you smiled and accepted us when we came to greet you. That's because I didn't want to upset Michael. But I think I have to get rid of you to protect him, haha. Get rid of me? I'm giving you a reality check. Stop dreaming and divorce him already, haha. My mother-in-law took advantage of Michael's absence to repeatedly tell me to divorce him. You're always at home and not working. You're worthless. Actually, I work from home. As long as I have my PC, I can work. You could easily lie about that. Michael is too naive to understand. I won't be fooled by you. I wish you'd just give up already. It seems my mother-in-law couldn't stand me being around her son, whom she loved so much. And she kept comparing me to Michael's sister, Lily. Lily is beautiful and thoughtful. I'm glad she grew up to be a better woman than you, haha. I wonder why Michael chose someone like you. I wish he'd chosen someone as cute as Lily. Okay. I'm home. Michael, welcome back. My mother-in-law glared at me with a face full of anger, not wanting Michael to know she'd been blaming me. I never intended to consult Michael about the snide comments from my mother-in-law. I mean, how would you feel if you heard your mom was hostile to someone? I wanted to resolve it myself, but my mother-in-law's snide comments never stopped, and it started affecting my work. Helena, stop playing and go shopping. Mother-in-law, I'm working right now. What? You're just chatting online with friends. I'm in a remote meeting. Can this wait? No matter how much I explained, she wouldn't listen and started to interfere with my work. It was hard because I didn't want to inconvenience my understanding colleagues. Michael, can we talk? I know I should solve this myself, but... It's rare for you to ask for advice, Helena. What's up? It's about mother-in-law. She seems to really dislike me and is causing problems. She says I'm not working, I'm worthless, and even comments on my looks. I'm just exhausted. After listening to me, Michael quietly said, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I can't imagine my mom saying such things. But I believe you're not lying, Helena. Can you give me some time? I thought Michael's response was fair. It's hard to imagine that a mom who's nice to you could be so mean to your spouse. Okay, I'll try to make peace too. I hope you'll judge the situation calmly, Michael. That day I just informed him of the situation. But mother-in-law's attitude didn't change, and I was getting worn out day by day. I didn't want to do this, but I started recording every time mother-in-law started saying something. I took notes and gathered data, anything to protect myself. Of course, I tried to explain to mother-in-law and even worked harder at household chores, but it seems my efforts were in vain. So, when are you going to divorce him? You don't think I'm actually paying attention to you, do you? You can't be serious. I know you have been hostile towards me. Then why are you still here? Because this is my home too. Don't make me laugh, haha. You're unemployed and claim this is your home? You're living off Michael's salary and you have the nerve to say that, haha. Mother-in-law laughed loudly and then glared at me. It's just a matter of time now. I had reached my breaking point. If she did anything else to me, I was ready to give it right back. Sorry, Michael, but I can't wait any longer. While I was firming up my resolve, mother-in-law's phone rang. After a brief conversation, she turned to me, looked down her nose, and laughed. You really have a face that makes me angry just looking at it. Why did you become part of this family? Haha. I didn't raise my son to have him marry someone like you. Please stop talking like that. I've told you before, why do you say such things? Because you're useless. You don't work and just live off other people. You're just enjoying life on Michael's earnings. How shameful for an adult, haha. Excuse me? You're completely misunderstanding the situation. Do you really mean that? I'm just stating facts. Now's a good chance. Why don't you leave? Even you would understand if it's for childbirth, right? My daughter is more important than a stranger like you. What? My daughter is coming home.
Lily is coming here?
Yes, she's coming home to give birth, so you don't belong here anymore. We have to get rid of the nuisance. We don't want any negative effects on the baby.
Fine, I don't mind.
You're just putting on a brave face. How ridiculous. Get out, you nuisance. Ha 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 ha.
All right, but whatever happens, it's on you. Be prepared. It turns out the caller was my sister-in-law Lily, who wanted to come home suddenly due to her husband's business trip. Mother-in-law hadn't properly explained to Lily that she had moved into our place. I couldn't take being called a nuisance anymore. I immediately arranged for all the furniture and appliances to be moved to my parents' house. Michael, I'm sorry. I couldn't take it anymore. I'll explain everything later. I only told Michael that much and went ahead with my plan. The next day, Michael joined a meeting at my parents' house. I let everyone listen to the recorded data and explained everything that had happened. After hearing everything, even the usually calm Michael had a look I'd never seen before. I have a plan, so please trust me. I won't let you suffer anymore, Helena. He had a determined look, almost like anger. From then on, Michael's actions were quite surprising. He lived calmly, going back and forth between my parents' house and mother-in-law's place. About a month later, he finally revealed his plan to mother-in-law. Mom, you're leaving today. Actually, I'm leaving too.
Michael, what are you talking about? What do you mean, leaving?
The rent here is $4,000. You can't afford that now, can you? This happened because you kicked out Helena, Mom. We need to move, you understand?
What? You've been paying it all along. Nothing changes just because Helena is gone. Without that nuisance, we'll even have extra money, right?
Mom, you're mistaken. Helena and I were splitting the rent. Plus, you were happily buying appliances with my money, weren't you?
Because she took them. But we can easily afford a $4,000 rent, right?
Those appliances were originally Helena's when she was living alone. I can't afford to live here on my salary alone. That's why I canceled the lease.
What? But Lily is coming back. She's planning to come home and give birth.
I've already explained to Lily. She's talked to her husband and they've sorted out their living situation. First of all, this isn't your house, Mom. It's our house. Why did you make the decision?
What about me? Where will I live? I'll live wherever you live next, Michael. You're divorced anyway.
I'm not divorced. That's why Helena and I are preparing to move to a new home.
You're not separated? I thought you had cut ties.
I've heard everything you did to Helena, Mom. I want to protect the people important to me. What you are doing is wrong, Mom. I have no intention of living with someone like that.
What are you saying?
Lily was shocked too. She said she won't see you for a while because it's not good for the baby.
What?
I'll also keep my distance. I have no intention of telling you about the new house.
But we're family. Why would you say something like that? Aren't you worried about your mom? You're saying Helena is more important.
We've accepted living with you, Mom, because we were concerned, but you've trampled on that. You hurt Helena.
I was thinking of your best interest, Michael.
For yourself, right? I never wanted you to mistreat Helena.
But...
Why don't you stay with relatives for a while? What happens next is up to you. If you still want to stay here, you can pay the $4,000 rent yourself. Michael said that and proceeded with the cancellation process. As for what happened to mother-in-law, she was kicked out by Michael and abandoned by Lily, so she reluctantly visited a relative's house. The relative, suspicious, confirmed the situation with Michael and was speechless. No one could have imagined that their own family member would be ostracized for harassing me, especially at her age with no place to go. Mother-in-law had apparently become quite subdued.
You made Michael hate me. Say it was a lie and restore my trust right now, or else you'll face the consequences.
I immediately reported this message from the unrepentant mother-in-law to Michael. This message caused even more commotion at the relative's house where mother-in-law was staying. Enough is enough. Mom doesn't understand anything. I'm ashamed to think she's my parent. Mother-in-law was severely criticized not just by Michael, but also by the relatives, and she lost her place entirely. If you harass me like this again, I'll consider legal action. When I replied like that, she stopped messaging, perhaps overwhelmed by the mention of legal action. For a while, she seemed to be reaching out to Michael and Lily, but when she realized they weren't responding, she quieted down. Now she's living quite meekly at a relative's house. Lily gave birth safely and went to see mother-in-law once, but her frustration with me turned towards her husband, and she left quickly. Lily also distanced herself even more from mother-in-law, who was completely abandoned by her own children. I did feel a bit sorry for her, but there's nothing to be done if she doesn't change. As for us, it feels like our bond has strengthened since seeing this new side of Michael. He's returned to his usual calm self, but I've come to appreciate that he can be firm when needed. We haven't completely cut ties with mother-in-law, but repairing the relationship will take a lot of time.